Welcome back. I know you're all excited, and thank you for spreading the word on social media. This is an amazing interview. I'm so extremely excited to be able to do this. We have an exclusive interview about the Winter Olympics live in Russia, and Mikhail lives in Russia. What better person to talk to? Hello. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
So let's talk about what it's like there right now. You guys, it's nighttime there right now, correct?
It is, yeah, it is. Close to 10 p.m.
Wow, okay. So, how are you feeling? What's it like? Have you been watching it on TV?
Yeah, of course I am. Yeah, any sports is good because it actually brings people together. You know, the Olympics is always good. Winter or summer, it's pretty good.
So, I want to ask you a little bit about the atmosphere, what it's like in the moment, like all over Russia, with everybody being there. And the Winter Olympics is in full swing. Is everything so crowded and that's what everybody's talking about?
Well, you know how it is everywhere. Anywhere there's Olympics, say London Olympics or Salt Lake City, the whole country doesn't really feel, happy about it always because you've got the Olympics happening in one particular place and everywhere else life goes on as it always is. And pretty much people are excited, they watch it on TV, but there's no euphoria about it. People are just going on about their lives, and that's about it. I mean, Moscow is a very happening place, it's pretty big, and something like the Winter Olympics is not going to set it on fire. It's a huge place. And, I'm sure that a lot of my friends who went to watch the Olympics in actual Sochi, they're having a lot of fun, they're going out, they're seeing all these shows, there's a huge cultural program there apparently. And there's concerts and performances all over the place. And people are going to watch that, they're pretty happy there. But everywhere else, I think it's the same as it usually is.
So you pronounced it Sochi.
Sochi is the actual way it's supposed to be pronounced, yeah.
Okay, we're doing it wrong here in America already. We're saying Sochi. Nice to know. So we're getting some questions in, Mikhail. Helen is asking where you are from, and Lance is asking where you're from as well.
Well, I'm from Moscow. I've grown up here. I spent a lot of time in London and in the UK. I'm back here now since 2007. That's about it.
Why do you feel it's important to be holding the Winter Olympics there in Sochi? Is that how you pronounced it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that choice was purely, terrain-based because that's the only place within Russia that has a nice mountainous region and it's still accessible to Europe. It's not far from Europe, right? I mean, you have to go really far to get like mountainous regions somewhere else. And it already had an infrastructure, so I think it was just a purely territorial thing. They looked at the map and they thought, where could we hold it? We could hold it. Sochi, okay, good place, right? Let's do it there. That's that thing. I don't think anything else was a factor there.
Okay, so here's another question. Shoot them out there because everybody has so many. The U.S. media has been discussing and also mispronouncing Sochi. But they're talking about how much these Olympics have cost, and we're hearing here in America it's around $50 billion, which is way more than any other Olympics even combined. Is this a fairly accurate cost according to what you see in the Russian media?
It's not about the media, right? Because we are sort of an internet generation, so we can pretty much look at all types of media. I would say it probably costs about 30 to 35 billion, which is still a lot because
billion.
Most Olympics cost about 5, 6, and we're not talking about summer, we're talking about Winter Olympics here.
So this is billion with a B.
About 30, 35 billion. That's what I would put it.
Wow. Yeah, we're hearing 50, 60, but there we go from an insider. That's awesome. Okay, so do you know what happens to the infrastructures? They're building so many roads and bridges and stuff that I've seen on Vice and read about. So what happens after the Winter Olympics has finished? Do you have any idea what they're going to do with all these hotels and bridges and new roads and everything that they're building there? Do you know what's happening after it's all done?
Yeah, sure. I mean, to be honest, Sochi is a very peculiar place because it's like Lebanon, really, because you've got the sea and you've got the mountains close to each other. So pretty much it's a resort, but it used to be a summer resort for the Russians. I mean, We're talking like for the last 100 years. So they're hoping, I don't think that will really come to fruition properly, to be honest, but they're hoping that it's going to become a winter resort as well, because I know you're probably going to have questions about corruption and such, but you have to understand that about, I would say, half the money that they spent on the Olympics came from the private billionaires and extremely rich people here in Russia, and most of them invested in hotels and invested in the whole infrastructure in order to be able to basically host people who want to come there on a holiday later on. Personally, I've been to Sochi. I don't think it's going to become an international resort. They're hoping it will. I just don't. I've been to so many places in the world, and I don't think that place will get it. So I don't really think that the money will ever be made back, to be honest. And even one of the guys who put in $2 billion of his own money into this, he's one of the richest people in Russia, he says himself that he's probably never going to make that money back. So, the answer to the question is simple. They want to make a resort out of it. How successful that will be, I'm not sure.
So, just to give a little background of what we are hearing here in America, which is totally different from what you're saying, which is nice to get somebody that actually knows what they're talking about, because I know how the media loves to spin things in negative ways. But what we're hearing is they're putting up walls to block out the poorer population, so tourists and stuff cannot see what's really going on behind closed brick walls.
Right? Guys, come on, we have to calm down and just consider the situation as is. We're not in the Soviet Union anymore. There is no Iron Curtain. There are no walls to block out anybody. We're not talking about Nepal here. We are in the G8, right? We're one of the biggest economies in the world. We are one of the only, not actually the only economy in the, in G8 who are actually in surplus rather than in debt, like most of Europe, the US, and a lot of other countries. So, there's no real, things like putting up walls between poor and non-poor. Sure, the Russian middle classes are not as big as Europe or in the US, but there's no such thing. Anybody can go anywhere they want. Technically speaking, that is just, I would really be surprised if anybody who actually went there would, any TV network anywhere in the world actually went there would actually post something like that.
That's very nice to hear coming from your point of view since you live there. Another thing that we heard that I'm sure you could debunk as well is we've heard that most of the money going into the bridges and the roads are being spent on his personal close friends, and he's paying his friends to do that.
I can't really comment on that properly because I don't know which companies were involved. I never took a look at that, but it's quite probable that was the case. There is a lot of corruption over here. This is a corrupt country. Having said that, it's not, it doesn't happen the way that people abroad picture it. It's not like, the government would say, here's 30 billion for the Olympics, and they'll just steal 20 billion and that's it. No, surely they use companies that are friendly to them. They could be their friends, they could be their whatever. It doesn't make any difference. And surely they probably, stole some money, but the extent is a little overemphasized abroad. And I've found that to be the case all the time. People think that we're repressed over here because of the way our position works, which is non-existent a position, but it works in a very particular way as well. And it's slightly wrong. Sure, we're corrupt. Sure, there's a lot of problems, and I disagree with a lot of the things that our government is doing. Having said that, it's not repressed. You can do whatever the hell you like. I can speak to you right now. With a picture of Putin, on my Skype. Nothing's going to happen to me, so it's not as bad as people think it is.
That's very refreshing to hear. Do you guys think you're going to hold the Summer Olympics like in the future with everything you built here?
I don't think so for two reasons. A, I don't think we're participating. Actually, for three reasons. B, I think one of the African countries should probably host the Summer Olympics at some point, because they haven't yet. South Africa did the World Cup, but they haven't had an Olympics yet. And there's an emphasis put on that continent at this moment in time, quite correctly, I think. And the third reason is we're hosting the World Cup, which is a bigger event than the Olympics. It's the bigger event than the Summer or the Winter Olympics. And we're hosting that in 2018. I don't think we would go for Summer Olympics anytime soon.
So I'm not sure if you're able to read the chat here on Skype. So there's some people chatting in that have some questions or a lot of very positive things to say.
I can't see it, no.
Okay. So let's see. Dom is saying hello to Russia. Let's see. I answered a couple of these. Let's see. Great job. You are very cool. Everybody's saying this is an amazing interview, and they are so happy to watch it. They're very impressed. People are Dina's asking, when do the Olympics finish?
I think it's the 23rd or something like that.
There's somebody in Poland watching that's very impressed. And yeah, people are just asking, what's Russia like in general? And everybody's saying they're very glad. Ian just said, along with a lot of other people, that they're very happy that you were on here and we did this interview. And thank you so much. Like, they're all thanking you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, they're being very sweet. They're very happy you did this. Thank you so much, Mikhail. You're amazing.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, guys.
This is awesome, you guys. So happy I was able to do this. Who gets to talk on Skype to somebody really in Russia and get the inside scoop? Do you know anybody? Get your questions on live. If you guys have any live questions, you guys chatted them in and I asked. And we were right there to do it for you. Spread the word. Here we are, making it happen. What? All right, so coming up, this is going to be great. Everybody is so excited. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Cam, Ian, Greg, Xavier, Save, Dean, Nikki, Jill, XX, Adam, Olive, Mason, Liam, John, Cam. And that's just to name a few because the chat just keeps going. Everybody's so stoked. Coming up, I have some funny pictures that I found on Twitter about, how does you pronounce it? Sochi. It's not Sochi, guys. It's Sochi. We learned something here today. At least, I mean, that's how the media is pronouncing it today. So I have funny Twitter things of what they've been experiencing, the media as well as the athletes there in the hotels themselves, which I think is fitting and hilarious because that's what we do. We try and make you laugh. So coming up after the break, we will show you that.